Hey, it's Constructive Greg. Tekla 2026 is out and I want to walk you through the 5 features that will actually change how you work day to day. Engineer to engineer, ranked by how much time I think they will save you. Let's get into it. This is the feature I think you will feel the fastest. A proper clipboard for model and drawing objects with the keyboard shortcuts you already know. So let's see how does it work. Because many times, almost always, you start from scratch. You start from the empty Tekla model, but you would like to grab everything what you had in the previous one, in 2 before, all of that rich content which you already had. And of course, you could manipulate the face, copy from another model, but hey, that was a nightmare. But now, please look what is available in 2026. I'm just selecting some part of the model, pressing Ctrl+C, picking the origin, and then I'm not sitting in the same model, but in the new one, the fresh one, I am pressing the paste keyboard, and here, please Tekla, yes, here it is. It works just like that. Those components are also here, so you can model some very complex geometry of the elements, of the rebars, of the steel elements, and then just copy paste them into the new model, and it works. But just be aware of one thing, because it's not so obvious. If I will place something new, like this one, and I will try to copy that, so I am selecting the point, and now I will try to paste it in this model, then it will not work. So that clipboard is not like we are used with the Office package or some other software that it's just happening with the clipboard. You need to save the model, the source model, and after that, that pasting would work. So the data has to be persisted in the DB1 file. What makes that feature even more interesting is that it works also for the drawing objects. Unfortunately, not for all, but still, it's a massive improvement. So if you have some not connected to the model object elements like lines, like symbols, like objects like that, and you save the source model, still the same principle, and then you will Ctrl+C, just copy, and then in the new one, let's paste it and place it here. So then it automatically went into the new drawing, into the new model, because for the drawing in the same model, okay, it was here already, but that, great work, Trimble guys. And now the last flavor of this copying, the one which when I first saw, I was like, whoa, it's great. So have you ever tried to copy, to move the custom components from one model to another model with the UEL file and moving, pasting, wow, man. But here, just look, I have a super complicated pile. This is the custom component. I will just save the model, Ctrl+C, pick the origin, and now in this one, I will paste it, and please see what will happen on the right side. Here it is. That's my custom component. Just like that. The second thing, which I think is the one of the topmost, is the link between the model and drawing area. And I know that sounds like the essence of the Tekla, but hey, please look into that feature. I have some GA drawing and I have some view, and yeah, it's a little too big, but let's just resize it. And I am curious, where exactly in a 3D am I? So now I can just click with the right mouse button, just like that, and press Create Model View for selected view, and here it is, just like that. Nice feature. So now I am able to see in a 3D. But if you place those views like that, then you will see that the ribbon is changing. That's a new feature. And what's more, if you open the properties of those elements and you will select, for example, from this ball, so here I have the settings from the drawing part. But if I will go to the view itself, I have the model attributes, the model properties. So if I will now select that steel member, it will be highlighted. I will select the part, it will be highlighted in the drawing. If I will select that wall, it will be highlighted here. So you can see exactly what in a 3D is associated with the 2D object and vice versa. So you can go with that like that. And what's more, if you are crazy enough, then you can try, okay, that wall No, that's not the best wall in my life. I have to make it smaller. So let's just decrease the height of that floor to something like that. Let's just press modify and hi Tekla. I know it's quite complicated, but please, a lot of people is watching that. Yeah, if you are doing massive changes, we can argue if that change of the height is massive, but still, a lot of things has to be recalculated, and the GA has to be also recreated because the hidden line algorithm has to be enabled one more time. And also I had some problem with the propping insert, so it just stopped working. Okay, not so bad. Not so good, sorry. So I will just try to move that just lower. And now let's see if that will work. Okay, this is this beam. So let's move it once more. And it is moving. And the connection which is connected, of course, it's also moving. It doesn't make much sense, but still, you can do those tiny adjustments. And the open question, what does it mean, tiny? But here, you can see the change in the drawing when you change the model. Of course, it works only for the GA. That object now be with the invalid number. It will have that question mark, so it will not be as good as it could be, but let's see what will happen in the next release, because I would say that that feature, to be able to select something and see it in the model area and in the opposite direction also, is great. And now just a hint, if you just want to go with those views dynamically, just use the middle mouse button on that, because if you will click with the left mouse button, then you will select the view. Just use the middle one, and that's all. And for the Trimble folks, if you are watching that, please just try. It will be very, very beneficial for all of the Tekla community to add that feature, not with editing, but just to see what I am selecting in the model one. Because if you are dealing with a precast concrete, a lot of detailed elements, if you are dealing with a steel and you see it in a 2D, then there's also always a question, how does it work in that 3 dimension? So if anyone is checking the drawings, and we all have to do it, that's the reality, if we can do it in this 2.5D, I would buy that. The next feature is a replacement. The replacement for the old, not good, dialog box for the model views. Please see how does it work now. This is side pane, not a big story. But here you have quite a lot of possibilities, because you can just open those and you see that green square to see that they are opened. You can try to move them. Why does it not work? You can try to move them like in the, okay, now it works, like almost in the windows, like that. That's a nice feature. But in my opinion, what is the best one is that now if you open all of those grids, all of those views, yeah, still 9 is the limit, but still if you open those and just try to see, hey, we have the thumbnails for the model views. So now, it makes sense to create your own model view, save it with your own name, and you will be able to see, to understand after 1 week what is happening in that view, what should be there visible. Also, of course, you can mark them as a favorite, you can create some directories, you can try to make them like the Windows Explorer, but probably it will not be our case. In my opinion, the ability to see the thumbnail of that view, it just makes the whole model views much more accessible for most of the people. And the previous dialog box, when I had just 30 of different model views with just some name about grid 5, grid 6, what the hell is that? And now I can see it. So definitely a feature which will make usage of the model views for big complicated projects much more accessible. The next feature happens in the drawing area. And of course, there is the AI fabrication drawing stuff, all of that big heavy gun which can be used in the Tekla. But it still relies on the cloning. And the cloning is something what some part of the Tekla community love and some hate. I am in the middle. But one thing was definitely missing in the cloning concept. Some way to provide the design intent. To provide the Tekla why I decided to create the section here, in that place. And here, you can provide that intent directly to Tekla. Please look, every section now can be associated with some model object. And by doing that, you're providing some insight, some knowledge to Tekla about why you decided to create that section. And of course, here in that beam, it's quite simple why that section is here, but still, if you're dealing with more complicated elements, then there is no way that Tekla will guess why you created the section exactly in that place, not for this plate, but for another plate. And now you can just go to that arrow and provide, okay, yes, it should be associated with that element, or maybe with that bolt, or maybe with that. And what does it change? So if you will clone that element to some other, and it will have similar part, that's a nuance, what does it mean similar, but still, then the section will follow that element. And also if here you will move that plate along the beam length, then the section will move together with that. So in my opinion, very good step toward providing you more control over what those views are actually representing, because the 3D space is not enough. You are creating the section here because it contains something which is valuable for you, and we should have more possibilities to provide the Tekla information why we decided to have the section exactly in that location. The last thing is associated with the delivery, because every model has to leave Tekla at some place. So here I want to focus on the new IFC way. And no, we don't have IFC 5 yet, but here we have a new way to export to the IFC. And this is the combination of the existing and the IFC 4. So yes, we can export to 2x3, to 4, 4.3, and everything can happen from that one single dialog box. So here you can provide the version of the IFC what you want, and what I really like is the new way to use the selection filter. So if you have your filter already created, then you don't need to change it in the Tekla at the bottom and select the part of the model which you want to do, but you will just go with the selection filter. That's a nice quality of life improvement. And what is very important, especially when you are dealing with a high requirement for the IFCs in your model, in your project, then you can create something new. You can create the attribute overrides. That's a new feature as far as I know. And here you can provide the information that, hey, I want that IFC beams, that their name should not be the default one, but it should come from, for example, some UDA or some property or whatever you want. So by doing that, you will be able to manipulate the header of those elements. And there are some projects with a very specific requirements for that. So if you had those projects, you had to do some post-processing after exporting from the vanilla Tekla in the previous releases. Now you can navigate those values for those properties directly from here. So you can create your own overrides for that feature. And that's a really nice step forward to have more control over how the IFC will work. Of course, here you can also provide the previously added property sets with this new UI, but that was already here. It was added before. What's also this one? So you can provide the information about the assembly structure of those elements. So you will have that hierarchy in the result. And that's maybe not very often used because typically you export IFC once per week on Friday delivery, but still you have more control over that file. So you don't need to look into workarounds how to enrich those IFCs. Almost everything what I believe is needed is here, just in Tekla, just like it should be. 5 features in 15 minutes. I thought that it will be much simpler, but you know, they added quite a lot and I just scratched the surface of all of those because they are more nuanced. So if you are interested in learning more about those and checking what's more was added in Tekla 2026, just go to the official Trimble site and you will find more about what is happening in the Tekla 2026, and there's quite a lot. That was a good release. So see you next time.